Technology is going to play a vital role for those duty holders, be that the owners, be that managing agents, if they're going to be able to meet the recommendations contained within the Hackitt Report. And I think it's really important, it's relevant information, has got to be available to occupants if they are going to be able to play and have a role and a voice in respect of meeting the safety requirements that are recommended. Now, the Hackitt Report has suggested that we really ought to identify 4 key areas that are integral to maintaining oversight and transparency. And that's going to be the digital record, it's going to be the fire and emergency plan, it's going to be full plans if we've got a new project going on, and of course a construction phase plan. But in addition to this, the fire risk assessment is also going to play a vital role. The golden thread of good quality information is actually essential if we're going to enable building owners, be they existing owners or future owners, in order for them to better manage their buildings far more safely. For example, as soon as work commences on a new project, clients are going to have to ensure that they have a digital record of that building work, as well as establish and initiate a fire and emergency plan. Both of those will need to be maintained throughout that design and construction phase, and part of the ongoing process of oversight as well. Now, formal handover of that information from the contractor to the owner to the building manager will actually help enable safe occupation and focus that manager's activities on maintaining and implementing good fire safety. It will also ensure that a robust thread of that key information is passed from one building owner through to respective building owners throughout that whole building's life cycle. The most obvious method in respect of how that can be achieved is through the use of online systems and platforms such as CUDA, which will allow owners, managers and residents to hold, provide and have access to all the key relevant information and data, both securely, effectively and of course easily. 2 of the key elements of using technology and of course online platforms to support compliance is that systems firstly have to be designed to ensure information security, and just as important, to provide relevance. What I mean by relevance is that systems need to be developed and implemented to ensure that the right person gets the right information in the right way. Now, at ARC, we see this very much like an onion, multi-layered. Access to documentation has to be provided through many layers. Residents should only have access to the information about their estate, their block, and very specifically their apartment. Now, of course, if we get this right, the results of improving transparency and access to such information will provide huge opportunity for those who occupy such buildings to actually both improve their knowledge, their network, and of course build confidence that actually effective fire safety arrangements are in place. Also ensure that residents can be informed and have an informed input into improvements and performance areas that they want managers to address, and of course it will assist managers to have that insight into the priority areas when developing and agreeing plans for the future. One of the key areas that Dame Judith has highlighted in her report is that we have a very poor information transfer from one owner to another. She calls it the golden thread. Now, whilst developing that golden thread of information is actually relatively simple when dealing with a newly constructed building or a current construction project, we have to ask, how are we going to deal with the existing building stock? And Dame Judith has actually highlighted that this is going to be a major problem. Getting that information for existing buildings, in our experience, is extremely difficult. And many clients and managers are already turning to actually retrospectively creating safety cases and fire management plans. Indeed, we've actually got a large number of clients who are already, especially at senior management level, deciding that actually they're not going to wait for new legislation. They're going to get on and do it now. It's actually going to be necessary, therefore, for duty holders to undertake and obtain support in completing that information gathering exercise to build that digital record and reconstruct the design intent of a building's particular fire safety arrangements. This is most likely going to require invasive surveys, especially when we're going into compartmentation. And whilst some building owners, in our opinion, are actually starting this work now, we have to ask the question, how are we going to deal with what Dame Judith recommends or reckons is actually between 2,000 and 3,000 existing high-rise blocks in the UK. Many, from what we hear, are actually suggesting that, well, we can wait. This is a long-term issue. But we have to ask the question, is it right for residents to wait?